What's really good, my people? Welcome into No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. I'm your host, Sean Little, Big Nick the Quick. With me, as always, I am coming live from Tampa Bay, Florida. I was at the game last night. We're here to break it down. Week 2, Bears fall 27-17 to the now 2-0 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Same story, different day, different week, different year, different season, different coach. A lot of the same outcomes here for the Chicago Bears. We're going to get into it. We could jump right into it right now. Let's talk about our initial thoughts. Obviously, Justin Fields is going to continue to be a talking point, a massive talking point that people need to decide what. People are going to start drawing stakes in the sand, Nick, and picking what side they're on. It's either Justin Fields or the staff. And we know, as I mentioned briefly last week, these guys didn't draft this dude. It is a built-in scapegoat. Before we start talking about that and picking sides, how'd you feel about the game? Or I should probably tell you about my experience, huh? Should I tell you
You
about?
were at the game. Yeah, let's hear
Let
about
me tell you.
how you felt about the game.
Let me tell you about just the overall experience. First of all, Raymond James Stadium sucks.
Not some shocker.
Well, once you actually get into the building and the stadium, it's actually not that bad. But trying to get to your seats is not the funnest, and getting out was almost as bad as Soldier Field, and that's almost impossible to do. So
That's a feat.
yeah, it maybe sucks, maybe harsh, but Raymond James Stadium is not one of the better buildings in the league. I can assure you, because I've been to quite a few. Um, Overall, Tampa's a cool little city. This is my first time here. I've never been. Shout out my guy John Henson. He took me around. We hit up a couple spots. Got some good food.
Wait,
Enjoyed
can
ourselves.
I pause on this real quick?
Yeah,
Of
yeah, yeah.
all the takes that I expected you to come back with, Tampa, because we talked the other day too. Tampa is a cool city, is not one of them. For y'all that don't know, Sean is a major hater of most cities in the United States of America outside of New York, Chicago. I don't think you don't like LA from what I remember.
I'm not a big LA
Not a
guy.
big
Yeah,
LA guy. I think you like Atlanta a little bit, but there's not too many locales that Sean's fond of.
yeah. I
And
mean, it's all right.
for you to
I was
come
here for a
back from
couple days.
Tampa and be like Tampa's decent is very funny to me because I've been to Tampa before. I was a little bit younger. I've never
It
heard
was
too
all
many
right.
great
I
things
mean,
about
look,
Tampa, but
I was here for
maybe
a
it's
couple
changed.
days.
Yeah,
I was here for a couple days. I was here for the game,
for sure.
and my guy is plugged up here, so like that helps a
That
lot.
always makes a difference. That always makes a difference.
Anytime you're in the city. So overall, fun weekend. I'm still here because we can talk about that another time. But I'm still here. I'm
Are
getting
you
out of
stranded
here.
in Tampa? Oh man, be
I'm stuck
careful.
in Tampa, unfortunately. So I'm trying to get out of here, figure that out. But overall, the game experience was crazy. I hit the group chat early, and I was like, "Yo, we should look at taking the over." It is blistering hot. It was 75, 80% humidity, and it had to be 95 degrees at kickoff. And I don't know about on the field, but we had club level access.
Yeah.
Also, be on the lookout for the vlog. The vlog is coming. It was really fun. Everybody around us was really cool. We had a good time. Couple Bears fans that we met. Be on the lookout for the vlog. That's on the way. The overall it the overall theme was that it was blazing. I went to the Bears Dolphins a couple years ago in Miami.
Yeah, you were at that
Very
one, right?
very similar situation. I saw multiple people pass out. You'll see on the vlog. There's a photographer shooting pictures. He just passes out
Jeez.
when we were on pregame and had the field access. So it was really 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 hot. So I hit the group chat. Thought that we should look at taking the over. Over ends up coming in, but
In a hell of a way.
not the best fashion. So overall, the game was fun. The atmosphere was cool. There was a lot of, you know what hit me, man, is that like these Bears fans are traveling, man. There was a
Yeah.
lot of fucking Bears fans in the stands, like a lot, and it's all for naught, man. Save your bread.
I noticed that when we went to Vegas, but Vegas, it was expected. It was the second
Vegas
game in
is
that
Vegas.
stadium. It was Vegas, and it was the Bears. So yeah, but yeah,
It's there was a lot of
yeah,
Bears
that
fans.
sucks. That
So
sucks for everybody that spent their hard-earned money to travel to Tampa for that contest. I feel you could have done done a lot of other things with
yeah,
that
so
bread than
I
have to go to that and sit yourself through 4 quarters of Chicago
and I'll be
Bears
honest because I want to
football.
hear from you too because I haven't watched any film yet. I
Mhm.
haven't watched a replay of the game. I haven't watched anything. I'm just going off of what I saw and watched in the stadium. How'd you feel about the game overall? Opening drive looked good. They
Yeah.
went down and got 7. Great start, and
Went
then
to
it was
DJ Moore in
pretty
the
much
opening drive. Yeah, Bears came out in the open, similar to what we used to see with some of the Nagy era stuff. There'd be some opening drives, or was it to open the third quarter, or was it opening drives where he'd always have something good? I don't remember.
that was the
Uh,
script. That was the first 15 plays were
yeah,
always
yeah,
super
yeah.
solid.
It
Yeah,
always looked good. It was similar to that. It was clear that they were emphasizing DJ Moore in the beginning, something that we had talked about. So it looked like they had a good control, and they came right down and scored on the first drive of the game. Man, it looked great. And then they settled into the Bears, and it was exactly what we thought we would see. Zero improvement from our quarterback, right? I'm not going to sit here and act like they helped them with the game plan because they didn't. I'm not going to sit here and act like they helped them with the offensive line because they didn't. But I think if we're going to be completely honest, we got to start with Justin Fields, right? Like I think you and I, outside of like 1 week last year, I forget which game it was, where we were both kind of done and we were like, hey man, this guy, remember that was the game where he couldn't even complete a screen pass. He was throwing behind guys, just throwing all over the place, right?
yeah.
But I think outside of that, we've really given him the benefit of the doubt, man. Look, everything around him is terrible. He's had a bad coaching staff. He's had this, he's had that, right? And like, every excuse, and a lot of that is legitimate, right? A lot of things need to go right when you talk about developing a quarterback. But some of the stuff that we saw yesterday, and if you haven't seen some of the highlights, it's going to look a lot worse on film to you than it probably did in person. I just saw a guy that has no grasp of what it is to play quarterback at this level, which is crazy considering the prospect he was, right? This is not Mitch Trubisky. This isn't Trey Lance. This isn't some guy that didn't get reps in college. This isn't some guy that wasn't a big time prospect at the quarterback position coming out of high school, going to Georgia, then transferring to Ohio State. This isn't a guy who we didn't see perform at Ohio State. This wasn't supposed to be a guy who was going to be a raw project, but when you look at yesterday, that's what it looked like. It looked like a guy who had absolutely no idea what he was doing out there. Looked like a guy who had zero sense of how to pick up the pressure. Looked like a guy who couldn't find an open receiver. Looked like a guy who completely abandoned all of his instincts and looked completely lost out there. I talked about a little bit in the group chat. When you see Justin Fields go back and he starts padding the football, things are happening way too fast for him. He has no idea what's going on. It's almost like a nervous tick that he has, right? He'll pat it 3 or 4 times and then shit just goes to hell. And you
Yeah,
saw that
his
multiple
feet start
feet start
patting
getting
too. I saw
crazy, and it's
yeah.
not natural, right? And the funny thing is, I had this game on right next to the Baltimore and Cincinnati game, and I looked at Lamar, and we've watched Lamar his whole career, right? And you talk about Lamar, everything I said coming out, even though Lamar was incredibly accomplished coming out of college, there were questions about him as a quarterback, right? Lamar never looked like this, right? There may have been some things he needed to clean up and things he needed to polish, but Lamar always looked confident back there. He always looked like he understood what was going on or what he was supposed to be trying to do. Justin Fields looked completely lost yesterday, and it's not the first time, right? It's not the first time. So, like, I think we got to move past the point of making excuses for him. Like, I think we got to be completely honest. Like, this guy has not improved, right? He is not making plays when plays are there to be made. There was a stat on Get Up this morning. I thought that this was crazy. This year, when Justin Fields has 3+ seconds to throw, he has 20 pass completions and 23 incompletions, which are 13 incomplete passes and 10 sacks with 3+ seconds to throw. Meaning when he gets time, he gets worse. They showed the highlight of the play yesterday. He had 5 seconds to throw the ball. He panicked, started padding the ball, and ran straight into the middle of the pileup and just took a sack when there were open receivers downfield. So, like, that's not on Getsy. That's not on Nagy. That's not on Ryan Pace, right? That is on Justin Fields. So there's been other quarterbacks who have been drafted into terrible situations. Joe Burrow was not drafted into a great situation, the Cincinnati Bengals. They almost killed him his rookie year with that offensive line, but he got better. He improved. We're not seeing that with him, man. And again, I'm not excusing the offensive game plan, right? I'm not excusing the offensive line. I'm not excusing the fact that they don't seem to be committed to doing what Justin Fields is good at. But there were opportunities yesterday. We wasted an effort on defense. I thought, all things considered, you're talking about a 100-degree ball game and a situation where in the first quarter the defense couldn't get off the field. I thought, for all things considered, the defense played great. You can't keep throwing guys on the field and be like, hey, stop. Eventually, you're going to give up 27. You're going to give up 30, right? But if you watch that game, the defense was fine. They kept this team in the game when they were getting nothing on the other side of the ball.
And got a special teams. And got a blocked field goal.
And got a blocked field goal. So here you go again, wasting great efforts on defense and special team. And this defense was a major question mark. I thought Flus called a great game defensively. Maybe Allen Williams should stay wherever he is. But offensively, man, it can't keep looking like that. And it really does start with Fields on a lot of this shit. He looks lost, man. The guy looks like he has absolutely zero idea what's going on. That's it. And we know, like, yeah, that's it, man. I don't want to hear it. And nobody wants to see him make it more than me. You know this. Pains me to say this.
I like how you slid that in there, though. That needed to be said before you wrap that up. You know what I'm saying?
It's not hate. Yeah.
Look, I can laugh, man, because I had a little rant when I walked out of the stadium. I put it on my Instagram. Go check it out if you don't follow me. But it was just like real rap how I felt coming out of the building. Now, I'm not where you're at, Nick. I look at the staff before I'm looking at Justin, because I think it all starts to pile up, and it's very difficult to make decisions. Like, do I think Justin Fields is playing well? I don't. But I also think when he does have an opportunity, he's not capitalizing, but the opportunities are few and far in between. And also, I see so many guys on our roster, especially offensively, that are not coached up properly, don't know what they're doing, don't know what they're supposed to be doing on a play-to-play, down-to-down basis. And a lot of that is coaching, if not all. I did see, even from last week, I watched the JT O'Sullivan does a great quarterback breakdown of almost every single quarterback in the NFL. Go check that out. He did Justin Fields in the Bears offense last week, and Justin made a ton of mistakes. But there was also so many stupid plays and structures from formations and offensive linemen and route trees with wide receivers and two wide receivers ending up in the same spot.
He's a big Cole Kmet guy.
Dude, he destroyed Cole Kmet.
He destroyed Kmet.
He's like, this guy.
He's like, what is this guy doing? Yeah, what is this guy doing?
He's like 85. He's like, this guy sucks.
This guy's
basically
awful.
Crushed Cole Kmet.
Yeah.
But there was another route. We had awesome seats. I was sitting at like the 50-yard line, first row, 200 level, and there was multiple plays where I saw Cole Kmet and DJ Moore or Chase Claypool are jammed up in the same spot on the field with no spacing, nothing to do. And Justin is looking at these guys to try to get them the ball, but they're stacked on top of each other. There's so many mistakes, fundamental mistakes, that are not on Justin and more on the staff. So it's tough to. I don't want to make excuses for Justin, because when there's a play to be made, he's not making it either. So when there's a fuck up from the offense, the play is shot. Then when the play is actually right and there's plays to be made, Justin's not making them, right? So it's almost like the offensive scheme, the play calling, the structure, the roster isn't very good. They don't know what they're doing. People aren't ready to play. Nick, flat out, bro, you come in at home against your arch rival, half the team, half those offensive snaps, I watched it multiple times. People don't even know what the fuck is going on. People don't know what to do. People are looking around and making ridiculous mistakes and don't know what to do. Even on that, the play you were talking about, that's the one play I did see the replay of, where the
5
motion
seconds.
comes across and it comes over. You got me?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were saying you lost
No,
me.
I'm shaking my head. I'm shaking my head at the thought of what you're talking about because I visualize it in my head.
Where it develops and opens
It's
up
there.
perfectly.
You're
Oh
hitting
my
that.
God. It's like
The
it's
seam
there.
is right there. Literally,
The
literally,
seam
like
is right
it's
there.
and I saw someone try to tell me that was his third read. If that's the third read on that play, then even if it is, it doesn't matter. But
But
yeah,
either way,
it's right
bro, if
there.
it's the
Yeah,
third read, you had time.
you had
You
time.
had all day.
Yeah, 5 seconds. If you can't make
Yeah.
3 reads in 5 seconds, there's a
And
major
even
issue
on
going
that
on.
same play, DJ Moore is open on a curl to the left.
Yeah, there's a lot of
And he
options.
if even if that would have been the smaller
There's
the
safety and there's a
smaller
touchdown.
yeah, so yeah, it's tough, man.
Safety route.
And I do feel for him because I believe Justin Fields is in an offense that flat out doesn't trust him, which may be valid. There's also a lot of people that don't seem to know what they're doing on a play-to-play basis. You got a guy, Chase Claypool is out there, but he's not out there.
He's so hit or miss. He made great plays yesterday and then would do awful things.
Yep. Every time you got DJ Moore the ball, he made a play.
But you decided not to get him the ball for 2 quarters. He was great in the first quarter, and then you decide for 2 quarters we're just not going to get DJ Moore the ball anymore. And then you come back to get another ball.
And then he started making plays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to sit here and make it sound like I'm making excuses for the coaching staff because I'm not. Like, I want to be crystal clear on this, right? Like, I want to be very, very, very clear that I am making no excuses for the coaching staff for the Chicago Bears performance the last 2 weeks. And if we're being honest, you were shocked by the number. This team has lost 12 straight football games, right? Going back to last year. This team has lost 12 straight regular season football games. So it's been bad for a long time. So I'm not making any excuses for the coaching staff. But I think you may have cut out when I was saying this. The thing that just sticks out to me the most is how unprepared Fields looks when that just wasn't supposed to be the case. This was not supposed to be a project. Trubisky was a project. Anthony Richardson over there with the Colts is a project. Josh Allen was supposed to be a project. Trey Lance was supposed to be a project. These are guys who didn't take a lot of reps. These are guys who didn't come out with the type of pedigree. Justin Fields was the number 1 recruit or number 2 recruit coming out of high school, was recruited by the Georgia Bulldogs, went to Ohio State, was a big-time quarterback in a big-time program, came in with the pedigree. So you thought at the very least like he would look like a quarterback, and there's stuff that I've seen yesterday, and that if we're being honest, we've just seen since he's been there that is just very un-quarterback-like. And that's why I brought up the Lamar comparison, because it's like you watch Lamar, and like, no, granted now Lamar is in like year 6, but even the early Lamar stuff, it's like it never looked like I'm like, hey, that's a guy who just doesn't really seem like he knows what's going on at quarterback. That's a guy who can't feel pressure. That's a guy who can't make a read. Like, no, and that's what you're seeing from Fields. It's almost like the shit is there sometimes, right? Like, you got to take what's there. That's what the NFL is. It's not going to be there a lot. It's really only going to be there a handful of times, and you got to take it. And again, everything around him is shit, right? The coaching staff is shit, especially certainly on the offensive side of the ball. The talent around him is very questionable, right? It's been upgraded, but some of these guys are young. It's going to take a while for my man's to the who's the guy? I don't know why I always forget his name. The guy we drafted from Tennessee, the tackle. Darnell Wright.
Darnell Wright, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to take a minute for him. Tevin Jenkins has to get back. Braxton Jones is in year 2. I thought Braxton Jones was awful yesterday, but he's in year 2. Needs to stop committing penalties. So yeah, you're right. A lot of that's on coaching, man. Like they don't look prepared. But Justin's not making it easier.
They don't look prepared. They don't.
But you know what? Though. But you know when you're watching a guy who's kind of like rising through the fire, like we've seen that with guys. You watch early Burrow stuff, right? You watch Josh Allen stuff, whoever it is. Some of these guys, like, hey man, that guy's kind of rising through the fire. When they start to fix a few things here and there, like it's gonna look really good. We knew with Burrow, if they protect him, if they just give him the 3 seconds that's required in the NFL, he is gonna make plays, right? With Fields, it's almost like, hey man, I don't know. I'm not confident to sit here and tell you that like it's gonna get better. Like he's not getting better.
Shout out my guy Jason. He always watches. Big love, brother. He said, I feel like a better staff would get more out of Fields. 100%.
Absolutely.
I agree.
I agree with that, and that's why I'm not taking this off of our staff, but I'm also saying Fields needs to get more out of Fields at this point. Like something, man. Shit was there yesterday. Shit has been there.
This is a really tough situation, Nick.
It's a bad situation. You might have ruined him. He might be ruined.
It goes back to what we talked about, though, because we've seen this timeline so many times. This is why it was so massive not to get rid of Nagy and Pace and give him that extra year. Because if he's ready or not, no matter what, if he's on the field, guys like us and the rest of the media are going to critique his game when he's in a nasty offensive situation. This is his second year, really, but it's his third year on contract. And now we start talking about, are they going to pick up the fifth-year option? There's shit like that out there. So it's really tough, man. I'm not ready to give up on Fields yet. Nick, and you know the battle. I was having a little bit of breakfast and I was thinking about it. And the battle is, I almost was on some like look in the mirror shit. And it's like, are you not ready to give up on Fields because you want him to be good, or you don't think he's good? Like if I was watching, if I was a Patriots fan, if I was looking at what was going on in Chicago, would I be out on Justin or not? And I didn't really have an answer. I couldn't really come up with one. I just feel like
from the outside, we would be so out on Justin Fields. It's unbelievable. If Justin Fields played for the Tennessee Titans, we'd be like, this guy is fucking terrible. What are we doing here? There's no way. There's no way. I know. No, we wouldn't do it. Nah, stop it. We'd be killing this guy weekly. And we'd be like, man, he's a brother. We really want him to succeed, but man, he sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. And then it's really nasty stuff that we have to go to Kansas City next week. Like, that is really tough.
And look, man, real quick I do want to say one thing on the and I hate doing this because it makes it seem like I'm disagreeing with you. But again, when I talk about like rising through the fire, Justin Herbert's head coach's rookie year was Anthony Lynn. Yeah. Tua Tagovailoa's his head coach's first 2 years in the league was Brian Flores, who did not believe in him and spent an entire offseason trying to get Tom Brady to town, to the point where they investigated and it became a tampering situation, right? So again, you talk about rising through the fire. Justin Fields isn't the first guy to be drafted by an organization that wasn't going to carry him, or by a set of people that weren't going to carry him into the future, right? Those are two examples of two of the best quarterbacks in the league right now who were drafted by incompetent head coaches that didn't want to play them.
Yeah, and everything just jumped off the screen. Tua Tagovailoa, man.
Well, but I said MVP Tua loading. We're here.
Bruh, he
looks amazing.
You want to talk about a guy that processes information quickly? Lord have mercy.
Right away.
You watched the game last night, and you watched that game against the Chargers last week.
Sees it, throws it.
He oh my God, this
gets
dude
it out.
Gets the ball, goes through. He is so far ahead of what he's like. When the ball comes out, pre-snap, he knows exactly what he's looking at.
Yep.
Post-snap, he's going through progressions and making decisions. And then once that decision's made, the ball is gone. So
whereas with Fields, that's what I'm saying. He doesn't need to be at Tua's level, but it's like it's polar opposite. It's like the decisions are just going so slow. It's like, hey, well, you know what I mean? With Tua, that seam it's gone before we even see it. You know what I mean? The second he sees him up there, like, oh, there's a chance it's open, I'm throwing it there. I'm hitting it to the spot. And I know he's going to be there.
Here's the decision.
And that's the other thing, man. Like, look, I know you were at the game yesterday, so you didn't get to see a lot of the early games. There's guys making plays all over the field. Joshua Dobbs is making plays yesterday. Hey, who's my man in Washington? Howell? Player.
Sam Howell.
Player. You think it's nice over there? That situation?
You got to be enemy.
Yeah, okay, great. But
Lance Joseph just got shredded.
But he's making Howell is on the road making plays. Like, there are quarterbacks. Jordan Love they lost, but Jordan Love was making plays yesterday. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like making plays.
Hey, and Nick, this is against a team that's not very good, bro.
Not very good. Baker
Tampa
Mayfield,
Bay.
Doug. And you want to talk about game plans? You want to talk about not trusting your quarterback? Watch the game plan that they had for Baker yesterday. Their game plan was very clear. We want to do everything but leave it up to Baker. We will run the ball as much as we possibly can. Everything's going to be short. We took the stat the other. Remember, I told you the stat. If Baker doesn't throw a turnover, he's like 95% winning percentage or something. It's ridiculous,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you keep everything simple for him. He's good enough to win you games. Like Baker's at that level where it's like he's probably too good to be a backup, but not good enough to be a high-end starter. So he's kind of in that like 20th quarterback, and he'll be in the league forever, right? Like he'll be fine. But that was their game plan. So I mean, yeah, this is not a good team. They were playing cautious.
Yeah, it's the rising through the fire. The rising through the fire thing is real because I am a big play the guy and let's see if he can play or not. Because if he can play, it'll show up.
For sure.
If he can't play, that typically shows up as well. That's why flirting with Andy Dalton and running all that out was nonsense always. We're only 2 games in, but I don't see it getting better. Where's game 4?
The Bears?
What's game 4? Yeah.
I don't know, dude.
We got to go to Kansas City. I believe Kansas City is I want to say it's Sunday night football too. Maybe I'm making that up as well, but I thought it was prime time. But
they need to flex that out.
The problem,
it's your 4th prime time. It's a Sunday 3:25. And then Denver comes to town.
It's going to be a desperate Denver.
Then the Commanders on prime time.
We fuck around, man.
Sam Howell throws 5 touchdowns.
It's not good right now, but
not good.
I think I still am going to stand on that he deserves to play out the rest of the year and to see how much he improves.
Wait, so you're never calling for TV. What do you call him? TV 8, TV 7? What's his number? Badgett.
Hey man, listen, bro.
Hey, my man might be able to play.
I did see my man's in preseason.
He could play,
and he had command of shit.
Yeah, he looked like a quarterback.
He's
getting rid of that bitch in 3 seconds.
How do you pronounce his name? Badgett?
Tyson Badgett?
Badgett?
Tyson? I thought it was Tyson.
Tyson Badgett. Yeah, you're right.
I think his pops named him after Tyson.
But he did have command of the offense. He looked like he knew what he wanted to do, where to go with the rock type of thing.
You know the story on him, right? Though his dad is like the greatest arm wrestler of all time, or something like that.
Yeah,
shit was crazy competitive in the crib growing up, and yeah. Could you imagine your pop's the greatest arm wrestler of all time?
Let me ask you this, Nick. Nick, hold on. Let me ask you this. If you're Ryan Poles, what are you thinking right now? You're at the crib. You're in the box. And I know you're sitting down with, what's the president's name? Kevin something, the brother, yeah. Shout out Kevin brother. Wilson. Yeah, I don't know.
Like
I don't want to
shout out to him, man. Congratulations.
Yes. They're having meetings. What do you think they're saying? What if you're Ryan Poles? What are you just weathering the storm?
If you're Ryan Poles, listen, man, this was you made this decision. You could have essentially bought yourself some more time by drafting Anthony Richardson or Bryce Young or CJ Stroud or any of these guys. And you chose to stick with the Field situation, so you're gonna have to live with that. We say, hey, you didn't draft him, but you chose to keep him. You had an out. Now, a lot of these guys don't have this kind of out. You had the clearest out you could possibly have. You had the number 1 pick in the draft. You don't get a better out than that. So, but it's okay. You might have it again. You're headed towards having it again. So that's fine.
How much of it is the organization not being able to develop a quarterback? Or is
you are the organization. When you're Ryan Poles, you can no longer blame the organization because you are the organization.
No, I wasn't talking about Ryan Poles. I'm just talking about overall.
The Bears in general?
Yeah.
Everything about the Bears is not being able to develop a quarterback. The entire history of the Chicago Bears is not being able to develop a quarterback. What do you mean? That's the history. Listen, man, you know what I was thinking about? You know why we don't like watching college football? Because we don't want to watch shitty quarterback play on Saturday when we know that for 3.5 hours on Sunday, we have to fucking tune into it every single week of our lives. So why would I choose to watch shitty quarterback play on Saturday when I know that on Sunday I'm watching shitty quarterback play? So failing to develop a quarterback is the story of the Chicago Bears. But so who do you blame that on? The organization? Who's the organization? Is
that's
mythical
what I mean.
thing?
It's like one of those things.
The organization, okay. The organization are the people that are in charge right now. The organization is Matt Eberflus, Ryan Poles, Kevin, and all of them. It's not Virginia McCaskey. It's not George Hallis. It's not Ted Phillips anymore. They're out trying to build a stadium. That's what they're doing.
There was people out there picking the Bears to win the division, man.
What division? People out there picking Justin Fields to be an MVP. When I heard that, I was like, what were y'all watching? Look, I'm as excited as anybody else. Justin Fields' MVP talk was crazy. This team sucks. That's that. You don't turn this around. There's no like, oh, we just need to tweak this, tweak that. It sucks. It's bad. This is bad. That was bad offensively. We should have rolled that team yesterday, if we're being completely honest. We had every opportunity in the world to roll that team. Again, when you rewatch the game, take note of just how conservative the Bucs game plan was with Baker Mayfield. They literally said, as long as we don't have Baker go out there and think that he has to play hero ball, we're fine. Everything was simple. Everything was simple, or it was run the ball. That was it.
Yeah.
And the Bears did a good job of bend, don't break. It was classic cover 2. Give up some yards, but don't give up the points. Force them into some bad decisions. But you
right.
Couldn't capitalize on it.
The D and special teams had some life to it. There's no
question
about that.
They absolutely responded. That unit responded. The pass rush is still sus. Now, we got back there. We can't finish anything. Who is it?
Disrupted a little bit.
Yannick Ngakoue. He got back there multiple times. He couldn't. Baker Mayfield looked like Cam Newton out there. Looked like young Ben Roethlisberger the way he was eluding the pressure. But we got back there. But that's an organizational failure. Just believe that you don't need a pass rush is an organizational failure. The organization. Fuck the organization. Fuck them, dude. This is what they do. I'm serious, man. I don't have time for this. I don't have time for it, man. I was excited. I'm out. I might not watch next week because we're gonna get obliterated. I love Patrick Mahomes, but
we're gonna get smoked.
It's gonna be so bad. And they're getting back. Chris Jones is gonna be in week 2. Kelsey's fine. They're good. This is if you're the Chiefs, like, oh, this is a pick me up right here. Hey guys, if you're Andy Reid, you're like, hey guys, let's get empty the clip. Empty the clip. Right, everything we've been working on, empty the clip in practice. Nagy. Oh, Matt, you ready?
Oh,
Matt.
I forgot about
Matt.
that.
Hey, Matt, are you ready? Yeah.
I forgot about the
empty the clip.
Yo,
yes, and Andy Reid's on that too. Andy Reid is that type of guy. He's gonna be like, yeah, this is Matt's shit right here.
You think they gonna try to run it up on
what? Are you serious? It's in Chicago, right?
No, it's in Kansas City.
Matt. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Matt's gonna run it up.
I really didn't. I forgot about the Matt Nagy angle.
The Matt Nagy revenge game.
City.
He's I'm gonna show y'all. I'm gonna show y'all Nagy 2.0.
Be you,
Nagy. Be you. Be you. Yeah, he's gonna be you. All right. Yeah, for sure. It's gonna be ugly, man, and it's gonna get ugly after that. Where's the win? Where's the win on the schedule? I want to know. All right. So who do we got? We got the Chiefs. That's a loss. Yep. We got the Broncos. The Broncos are 0-2, but played better yesterday. I don't think we're beating that football team, which says a lot. The Commanders, not a chance. The Vikings
in Washington.
Yeah, the Vikings. The Vikings are in turn around your season mode. So no, the Raiders could be. Chargers, Saints, Panthers, Lions, Vikings, Lions, Browns, Cardinals, Falcons, Packers. Where's the win? These boys go 2-15, 1-16. And you got to take my mans if that's the case.
All right.
Caleb Williams, man. Come on in town, man.
We're officially out.
We're on Caleb Williams' watch.
Nick is officially out on the season. I do just want to see improvement from Justin.
How are you not out?
I think I was never really in. You feel me? I was never really in. You can go back and listen to it. I was like, yo, I just want to see Justin Fields improve,
We
and
haven't seen
that
that.
that's what we're not seeing. So that may be where we're out. But
So where do
yeah,
you
man,
where how much more? So you say he plays. So you said no matter what, like you would play him the
I
entire.
think he should get the full season no matter
If
what.
he had like 6 touchdowns and 30 picks by week 10, you're like, hey, keep trying him back out there.
Well, I mean, this is the issue with playing. When you play, you need to show results, or the pressure is gonna become so great that they're gonna have to replace him
You know the
if
worst
he
part
can
about the
if
wasted
he
year?
continues to play this bad.
We wasted a year of contract is actually what we wasted. Because
Yeah,
now you're at decision time after this year.
that's
Essentially,
what I
where
mean, bro.
you have to pick up that option, which if he sucks, picking up his first year or fifth year option is like $25-26 million or something like that. Like it
No,
becomes
it's not
very real
happening.
money. Yeah, it
No,
becomes
it's
very
just
real money.
yeah,
There's
it's
no
just
way you
not
can pick up
happening.
his option, right?
Yeah, it's just not happening. Yeah, they just wouldn't. They just wouldn't do it.
You couldn't do it. You'd have to.
And,
He has
and
to.
and because you get to like announce it essentially a full year before, basically,
Yeah.
they're just gonna be like, yeah, we're not picking it up, and then he's gonna have
Prove
another
it.
year to go out and see if they 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 like him.
We're here again.
We're here again, bro. It's actually crazy. But look, bro, I will say this. This is my last thing, man. If you go back, Tua wasn't Tua under Flores, under a bad system. Tua wasn't good.
Was Tua
He
not good,
showed
or was Tua just
no,
hurt
no,
a
no.
lot?
Listen, he was hurt a lot, but he showed flashes. He gets in one of the best offensive minds in McDaniel, singular.
Singular.
Now he's one of the best He was one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah,
Then
I mean,
you understand what I'm saying, though? It needs to be a marriage that fits, bro.
yeah, I guess these Tua
Sure,
numbers. These Tua
guys
numbers his
that are,
first 2 years in the league are rough.
yeah, bro, he was bad.
They're
But he
pretty
was
bad.
under Brian Flores, a defensive guy that didn't like him.
Didn't
So
like
it was
him.
a bad situation. So he wasn't gonna be good.
Shut up, Brian Flores.
Justin
But
Fields may be in a spot where he never had an opportunity to be good because the staff is bad, the players are bad, and no one knows what they're doing. The coaching on the team is bad.
it is really bad.
The players don't know their objective on a down to down basis. There's confusion every other play.
Yeah. Dumb penalties, which was a
Dumb
hallmark of the
penalties,
Nagy
the whole
era.
thing, right?
Yeah.
So that's where it gets kind of spooky. Now, Justin Herbert, a guy like that came through a fire, and he showed it immediately. Like, yo, this dude is.
Yeah. Go back to some of those Anthony Lynn stuff. This was not a good head coach.
Bro, Herbert came out in his first game, and we were like,
yeah, this guy's real.
Wait a minute.
And I was out on Herbert because remember there was a lot of hype on him, and I watched some college games. I watched him against ASU specifically, and I was like, this guy sucks. He sucks. I was like, I don't see. Whenever everybody sees, I do not see it. So yeah, definitely credit to him. Yeah, no, for sure. A lot of these guys, a lot of them, man. A lot of them. We talk about look, the only perfect situation. There's very few Mahomes. Love him. Everything you can say about him as a quarterback, but Mahomes is like the only guy you can really look at and said, "Wow, like perfect situation, right? Perfect situation."
Well, that's what happens when you're really good and get a great situation.
Yeah,
you go down as one of the best of all time. That's just what it is, man. So it's just really tough. Like a lot of the stuff too, as like quarterback stuff, seems like he doesn't have a quarterback coach that's cleaning up shit either.
Well, that's another thing. Yeah, he doesn't have it. Who's this guy? Yeah. Who's this whisperer?
His even if you go back and look at the Mooney TD last week, the only good play of the week, it was still like a very disheveled throw.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a stand tall in the pocket.
Nothing looks clean.
Drop off. Nothing looks clean
at all.
Also, JT O'Sullivan pointed this out as well. Justin Fields, his drop back is so fucking lazy.
It's lazy, slow. Yeah. Except for a guy that athletic, it's crazy that he drops back like that.
His drop back is slow. It's nonchalant, and I understand you want to be relaxed. But if you go and look at Tua, this dude, bing, 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 bing.
It's tight. Yeah.
Bing, bing, bing.
Yeah.
It's tough because I think it's a lot of the coaching, and I feel for Justin because I think he's in a situation where the coaching sucks and he's starting to when the coaching and people and the offense is suspect, you start to question yourself. And then when things are there, he's questioning if he's seeing what he's seeing and he can't process it and he can't execute. So I think it's a lot of that. I think if you put Justin Fields in San Francisco, if you put Justin Fields, let me ask you this, Nick. You take Justin Fields and give him everything, the full year prep, and flip him spots with Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia. He may not be as good as Jalen, but fuck, man, I think he would thrive in a situation like that. I don't see why he wouldn't.
Yeah, and we've never heard. Well, yeah, and I think a lot of Jalen Hurts' success, and you talked about this last week when why you take a chance on Hurts is because of who he is, right? And I don't think we've ever heard anything bad about Justin Fields as far as his work habits, his character. Like from what we can tell, he cares, right? He's a pretty quiet guy. He doesn't say a lot. Like when he gives interviews, it's pretty standard and straightforward. But so I've never gotten the sense that he doesn't work hard. So yeah, listen, man, I'm not saying it's not the coaching staff. So yes, he would be more successful with a better coaching staff. Anybody would, right? But that doesn't excuse some of the stuff that we're seeing from him. So it's both. It's not like you in the beginning of the show, you said you're going to pick, which side of the stake you're on. I'm on both. I'm standing right in the middle with a leg on both sides because it's the coaching staff and it's the quarterback. And I don't know where you really go from here because it's week 2. Like it's week 2. And it's not like early season.
Kansas,
right? Yeah, it doesn't get better. It doesn't give you a lot of opportunities to get better. The division looks like it could be pretty competitive.
Yeah, to say the least.
So I don't really know, man. I think that I think like you said, man, you got to let it play out for the full year because you got to be sure. And just hope that you clean some shit up.
Yeah.
Hope that he gets better. I don't know what the film sessions look like.
But Nick, eventually these guys are going to have to try to save their job, right?
Yeah, by doing what though?
The coaches lost 12 games in a row.
12 games in a row is epic.
To lose 12 games in a row and then every week you show up and no one knows what the fuck is going on is absurd.
It's kind of like, what have you guys been working on? Because you're not working on winning.
Nick, you came into week 1 of the season. You had all off season, all everything. You were playing at home against your arch rival, and no one knew what they were doing on offense.
Yeah,
mistakes riddled all over the place.
And you actually had the more experienced quarterback in that game. Jordan Love has started one ball game in his entire career.
Yes, so we'll leave it there.
It's ugly, man.
It's ugly. It's ugly right now for the Chicago Bears. 27-17 loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I spent a lot of money to come down here to support the guys, and I might have to pull the ripcord on. That's why you got to go to Bears games early in the season, dude, so you can at least have some hope. You know what's funny, Nick? Real quick before we get out of here. At the end, let me. This is pretty telling of like the life of a Bears fan. We get the stop. We're down 3 points, and I am fired up in the stands. You're going to see it in the vlog. And I'm looking at the rest of the Bears fans around me, and they are almost looking at me like, you really think we're going to go down and
this guy's new here.
Yeah, exactly.
This guy's new here.
That's how they were looking at me.
How long you been watching the Bears for, son?
That's how they looked at me, bro. I'm serious.
Yeah, like you were crazy.
Like, bro, we're not going down and scoring a touchdown,
like
bro. Why are you standing up and clapping?
Yeah.
That's how they looked at me. They looked at me like, what?
Who is this guy?
I literally pointed out 2 Bears fans, and I'm like, y'all are not giving me enough. Like, we got the ball down 3 points. This is where you want to be. And they looked at me like, nah, bro.
They were like, man, it's okay. He doesn't know.
Wait till you
God bless him. He doesn't know.
No, exactly. Wait till you see the footage, bro. They gave me a little bit of hope, and I was just like, man, I can't believe I fell for that shit again.
Yeah.
What about this, Nick? He called the screen 2 plays in a row.
Dog, the same play. And the second one was a pick, right?
Yeah, the second one is a pick 6.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, come on.
Nasty stuff, man.
He also loves the 3rd and long screen pass. Any variation of the screen on 3rd and long is a Luke Getsy staple. If it's 3rd and 8, it's just the screen. That's it. Hey, screen.
Yeah.
Screen.
I don't know.
They love the screen. They don't move him around. And this is where it's the coaching staff. They don't move him around. They don't call any design runs. They don't get him going. They don't take advantage of his athleticism. It's like Trubisky 2.0 in the sense of like, hey, while some of these guys are kind of getting better, it's like, why not just play to their strengths? And they just don't do that. They just don't. Like, they refuse to do that, man. Like, that, yeah. When Lamar won his MVP, remember what they did? They simplified the offense. Not that he couldn't, but it was just like, hey, this guy's good enough to where we just give him a couple reads and then go. And that's what it was. Hey, if the first one is Mark Andrews, the second one is whoever number 2 is. After that, just go. Play.
Yep.
And what did he do? He won an MVP. With Fields, it's like, no, sit back in the pocket and try to pick shit out and try to beat Tom Brady back there.
And he can't do it.
He can't do it. He's not there yet. And when he played so much of his career with a bad offensive line, you hear footsteps before they're
that's
there.
What I was saying. That's when you start to question yourself. Am
absolutely.
I seeing what I'm seeing? And if you're not elite in that, it starts to get kind of spooky. So.
You expect the pressure to the point where you don't feel it when it's actually there. Like the pressure it's always there, so there's no real change in anything. There's no real like, oh, here it is, I need to move right here, right? Like so that's where it's on what's been around him for sure. Like absolutely.
16 of 29, 211.
Yeah.
2 interceptions for Justin Fields. So
no run game either.
We'll see what happens next week. No run game whatsoever.
No run game literally to be found.
Yeah. So stay tuned. No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. We'll be back for week 3. We'll be back tomorrow to break down the rest of the stuff going on in the sports landscape. Shout out Riffy Rick in the comments. Shout out Jason S. Appreciate y'all always coming, rocking with us. No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. We'll see y'all later.